It's been pretty unprecedented what's happened, and almost unhinged, I would say, to have Iran lash out at the very people who've been calling for de-escalation, who've been calling for this war to never actually even start, which has really taken us by surprise. We've borne the brunt of most of the missiles and drone attacks, and it's really quite surprising for us that Iran has taken such an irrational path to fight the Gulf states and act in this quite unlawful, quite unacceptable manner.
It was, however, the US and Israel who started this conflict. What's your message to them?
Independent of how this began, the retaliatory measures that Iran has taken to attack the Gulf states is really where the issue we have is. And I have to highlight here that Iran isn't simply attacking military bases that have not launched a single missile from them, because we've made it clear that our territory would not be used to launch an attack against Iran. They are actually targeting civilian infrastructure as well, whether it's airport or it's oil tankers. And I think that's a question that one must ask about. Why is Iran using this measure to fight through their grievances with the Israelis and with the Americans? A few days ago, Laura, there was a UN Security Council resolution, 2817. 136 countries co-sponsored that resolution, condemning the attacks against the Gulf and condemning the fact that states that have been neighbors to Iran, traditional partners to Iran, and who've been calling for de-escalation all along are now actually being targeted in such an undifferentiated manner.
As you say, it's not just the US bases that are being targeted, it's civilian infrastructure, but has it made you reconsider the presence of US bases?
Oh, quite the contrary, quite the contrary. Our relationship with the US is a long-standing strategic partnership. It's a partnership that doesn't falter in moments of crisis, but has been built on decades of trust and mutual respect. We've been long-standing partners of the US, long-standing partners of Australia as well. And this doesn't deter us because we're also a resilient bunch, and we don't take to trying to being bullied around either.
How concerned are you about instability in the region now becoming entrenched, even if the immediate situation were to de-escalate, say, by the United States backing away?
People in the region and certainly in the UAE, I don't want to say we're used to conflict, but we've seen over the decades since our inception so many different conflicts in our part of the world. And, resilience doesn't come overnight. It's been built in through systems, through a modus operandi that can handle and weather tough storms. And we are confident that we'll be able to weather this and also have the stamina to be able to do that as well. And here I'd also love to add, Laura, if I may, that our 6-layered air defense system has been so well integrated with other multiple systems as well to be able to protect and preserve the way of life in the UAE, and has done a pretty remarkable job in making sure that over the last 2 weeks we've continued to maintain a safe and a stable and a secure environment for our people and for all citizens that live here, who are close to 200 different types of nationalities.
Australia has brought a surveillance aircraft to the UAE to assist you, as well as a pledge of missiles. Are there other ways that a non-involved middle power like Australia can help the Gulf countries?
I think I believe we have an incredible relationship with your government and with your people. There are close to 30,000 Australians who live in the UAE. Almost 4,000 of them are actually students. And over the years, we've built a strong partnership and a strong basis for respect, and certainly a strong basis for business, investment, and commercial enterprise. And that's something we want to preserve, that's something we want to maintain. For the time being, having the wedge tail, which is a remarkable radio slash not an interceptor, but it's a detection mechanism, is incredibly useful for us because it'll help us also better understand what's coming through if the UAE continues to be a target. We need to keep our communication continuous. We want to continue to work with Australia, as we are with so many other countries, to ensure that there is a loud enough, large enough collective voice that really calls for the illegality of what's happening and the unacceptability of what is happening as well.
Well, as you say, everybody's making new arrangements with each other in these times. What does the war mean for agreements reached between the UAE, United States and even Israel? Things like the Board of Peace, the Pledge of Investment in the United States, the Abraham Accords. How does it change the dynamics?
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. If anything, we are doubling down on our friends. We are further cementing the strong ties that bind us. Moments of crisis won't falter the trajectory that we are in, which is built on partnership and mutual respect. We need to have less wars in our region and around the world, less conflict, less instability, and less fragmentation. The Board of Peace was a framework that was put forward to bring voices together to try to tackle it. We are committed to that. Our investment in that continues. And I do want to add that for Gaza specifically, we've put in close to $3 billion in support of the Palestinian people in Gaza. And we'll continue to do everything we can to alleviate that suffering. And so we remain very clear-eyed and very centered about where we're going. And of course, what's happening now is challenging, but we've already shown up for ourselves and for our people in ways that make us incredibly proud.
And how is the UAE as a community coping with the ongoing bombardment from Iran? And I wondered if you could just tell us about the impact of the blockading of the Strait of Hormuz for UAE, because it's not just about oil, is it? It's about food imports.
It's about almost everything, right? Because the Strait of Hormuz is the pathway in which so much of global trade passes through, whether it's cooking oil or it's petrochemical or it's manufactured products. So it's really an important pathway, and it is what the IRGC is using as a leverage to scare, to create panic in markets, and to try to destabilize the absolute strength that Gulf economies have, and in particular the UAE economy, which is really a solid rock to a very large degree. We are measured in our approach, and we're not taken with hyperbole, and we are very restrained and beyond the here and now, are already thinking of ways in which we can mitigate against that, and are talking to our friends and partners, including Australia, about how we can ensure maritime freedoms, how do we ensure that humanitarian aid, all of these different mechanisms that use the Strait of Hormuz are not hostage to hyperbole that's coming from the IRGC.
Minister, thanks so much for your time. Is there anything else you wanted to tell an Australian audience?
Only maybe to follow up on how people are coping here. I think it's been really heartwarming and beautiful to see the community come together in solidarity and with, again, that very clear-headed perspective that reinforces the confidence they have in our armed forces, recognizes that these are unprecedented times, but also believe in what they're doing, believe in what the leadership of this country aims to do, and sort of slowly get on with their lives in ways that are responsible and in a way that really reinforces their love and commitment to this society and to this leadership. That's something I didn't expect. It's something that I am very gratified by and very grateful for, but it tells you a lot about people who've been here, who've seen this system, this government respond to times of challenge, always in that transparent way, in that open way, and that puts their safety and security above all else. And that has been, I think, if there's a great outcome out of all of this, is to see that the resilience of the very fabric of the UAE society has been knitted even more closely together.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Laura. Thank you.